Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 200 Southwest 7th Street here in Dundee. We're located at the right side of the home, on the backyard side of the fence. Got a 3-inch ABS clean out as our point of access. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Currently have water running. Here we go. And I have scoped the house next door to this one a year or two ago. And I believe this line goes, unless this is a different one, that line went all the way out to the main road. So we're going to keep the camera moving fairly quickly here just so we can cover some ground. And then more than likely we're going to have, if this does do what I think it's going to do, we're going to have to move to 1 or 2 other cleanouts. So we're going to jam this out as far as we can go, drain it out, inspect the pipe, and then move on to the next spot. And currently we are in 4-inch 3034 PVC pipe. That's the green pipe we're in now. Now these big long lines like this, very, very common for them to have standing water. I tend to look at these a little bit differently than the average sewer line. This kind of length alone, where it might be 250, 300 feet possibly, just the length of a line like that alone can cause debris to collect in the line, because you don't have specially designed toilets to push debris that much further, where the average sewer line is going to be about 50 to 60 feet long. So if you're putting things down the line that shouldn't be going down there, like paper towels and things like that, they're going to tend to hang up a lot easier in a line like this than a shorter one. So that, and to try and grade a line this long is extremely hard to do without having some type of belly in it at some point. So we're at a secondary cleanout right here at 120 feet. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to stop at this cleanout here. I'm going to go locate it, and then we're going to move to that. We're going to let the line drain out for a moment while we inspect the pipe on back in. All right, I've located the camera head here in the neighbor's backyard. It's fairly clearly marked. There's a big plastic lid over the top of it that says sewer on it. Now we're all drained out. We're going to go ahead and reel back in here and move up to the next spot. And we're coming into some standing water here. That whole section we just scoped there coming back in drained very nicely. So this is, and that right there is nothing to be concerned about. You've got about 3 feet of pipe with less than a 1/4 inch of water. I can't remember if I mentioned it before, but I typically do not start recommending repairs on bellies until you have at least 5 feet of pipe with at least 1 inch of standing water static with no water running at all. That's where I start to see toilet paper collect. It's still very livable even at that point, but can be problematic if you're not being careful as to what's going down the line. Anyway, first 120 feet here is looking fantastic considering the length of this line. It's going to be near 300 feet long. You know, and typically unless there's really significant bellies with lines of this length, I've mentioned before, it is extremely difficult to grade a line this nice, you know, this length properly without, you know, any of that ground settling or anything of that sort. So unless the bellies are really significant, I typically recommend periodic hydrojetting to clean the line rather than just full-on repairs. just because the bellies in lines this length are so common. Almost 100% of lines this length will have bellies in them. Anyway, all that pipe we just scoped there looks fantastic. We're going to move over to the next clean out. Alright, we're over. We're just to the right of the neighbor's house, the one right next door to this one. And do the same thing here. We're going to run this thing way the heck out as far as we can go and drain it out and do the same thing. Yeah, we're going to go see where we're at here. Okay, located the camera head. We're out right at the sidewalk out on the main street. So we're to the point now where we're probably only about 15 feet or so short of the main. We still have a little bit of water trickling down line here, but it's not enough that's going to obscure our view of anything. Now, so far we're now at about 250 feet of pipe scoped here. I am very impressed with how this thing looks. Usually lines of this length have bellies in them that the pipe has 3 or 4 inches of standing water. It's nice to see one that was done right. And we still have some water flow in here. If there is any standing water in amongst that, it's extremely minimal and nothing at all concerning. But every time I stop here, that water is still moving. So, draining out very nicely. Yeah, this right here is about the most standing water I've seen the whole time, and again, it's another spot where there's about 2 feet of pipe there with less than a 1/4 inch of water in it, which is nothing concerning. You do want to make sure, especially lines of this length, I've already mentioned before, they're kind of prone to debris buildup anyhow. If you're putting things down the line, it shouldn't go down there. You want to really make sure you're not putting any cooking oil or grease or anything down the sink. A line of this length has a really hard time moving that stuff along. Any line has a problem with it, but especially when you have a long one like this. We're just about back to the clean out. All the pipe we've just scoped there up to this point, out to 250 feet, is looking great, draining very nicely. I've done about 15,000 sewer scopes at this point, and hundreds of lines this long, and this is going in the books as one of the best ones I've ever seen that are at this length. So anyway, here's our neighbor's backyard. Your clean out or secondary clean out's right here, just off the side of their patio, on the right side of the neighbor's house. We're going to move over to the other clean out and finish the scope. Alrighty, so I've been over here digging around for this spot for, 10 or 15 minutes now at least. Unfortunately, I'm not hitting any plate. We have a cover right here. This is it's a sewer clean out for a house that's not the one we're trying to scope here. It's got cast iron pipe in it. I've already opened it up and never saw water flow through. So I know it's for a different home. I'm locating where we stopped right here, about 2 feet in front of that. And we are right here at the street curb. So the nice part here is we literally stopped at the city right-of-way. From this point forward is all a city responsibility to begin with. And the main that's out here in the street is only about 5 feet beyond the curb. So we've only stopped maybe 8 feet or so short of the main lateral. Unfortunately, though, I'm not able to hit anything. I've been probing down into the ground as far as I can go here, and I'm not hitting anything. So that is going to be as far as we're able to scope today. The nice part is we stopped beyond or just inside of the city right-of-way, which is where homeowner changes hands to city responsibility here. So the line's newer. We can see a little bit of a distance down the pipe. We can actually see almost to the street curb from where the camera stopped at. So I am very comfortable with where we've had to stop here. Unfortunately, I'd love to be able to get that clean out open, but from this point forward, any issues that we would find would be a city responsibility to fix anyhow. Now we're going to go ahead and pack up here. We have great flow all the way out to the street. The ABS and PVC portions of the line we scoped are all in good condition. This sewer line is functioning properly at this time.